was the week that was. It's over, let it slide. That was the week that was. I took him at his word.
This is Jack Linkletter. If you like folk music, you'll love Hootenanny. The songs come from all over the world. They speak of work, play, and of traveling. Then there are songs of joy and hope. Join the well-known folk singers who get together every week for a Hootenanny on ABC TV.
The champagne music of Lawrence Welk. It's the Lawrence Welk Dodge Show, brought to you by the Dodge Dealers of America.
The Joey Bishop Show was brought to you by
Newport Filter Cigarette.
Newport smokes fresher than any other menthol cigarette.
Do you have a cigarette, dear?
Sure, honey. Try Newport.
They're huge.
It's an optical illusion. Newport always seems bigger and better than other cigarettes. They smoke fresher and taste better, too.
Are you sure they're regular Newports?
Of course. Fine white filter, menthol and mint, great-tasting tobaccos. Only Newport has all that.
But the size. Put your cigarette lighter next to them.
Okay. Try Newport, folks. They come with or without the optical illusion.
We expect to prove, ladies and gentlemen, that Christine Knox did knowingly and willfully commit murder in the first degree upon her son. Knowingly and willfully committed bodily harm of such a serious degree that it caused the death of her infant. We expect to prove
the innocence of the defendant, Christine Knox. And we ask you, ladies and gentlemen of the jury, to listen to the facts of the case. The facts. Not to let the enormity of this kind of alleged crime color your judgments. And we respectfully submit that a fair and impartial scrutiny and close attention to the facts can and will prove the innocence of the defendant, Christine Knox.
NBC presents Saturday Night at the Movies, the television series which each week brings you the finest in motion pictures.
And now, from the Hollywood Palace, here is your host, Fred McMurray.
Thank you, and good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to the Hollywood Palace. We have a fine show for you tonight. We have George Gobel, Dorothy Collins, and some top acts, and a lot of talented members of the United States Armed Forces. Well, this is Armed Forces Day, and the day on which we pay tribute to the Army, the Navy, the Air Force, the Marines, and the Coast Guard. Not necessarily in that order. In other words, for me, this evening, instead of my three sons, is our five services.
A horse is a horse, of course, and no one can talk to a horse, of course. That is, of course, unless the horse is the famous Mr. Ed. Go right to the source and ask the horse. He'll give you the answer that you endorse. He's always on a steady course. Talk to Mr. Ed.
Starring June Lockhart, Hugh Riley, John Provost as Timmy, and, of course, Lassie.
Is brought to you by Gleam with GL70 patented bacteria fighter. It's worth it to brush often with Gleam, even if you can't brush after every meal.
From Television City in Hollywood, the Judy Garland Show.
People do. How'd you sense of humor? There's a rumor laughter's on its way. Now, no one can understand.
What's My Line? Brought to you by Geritol, the high-potency vitamin iron-rich tonic in liquid or tablets to help you feel stronger.
Your ignorance makes me ill and angry.
This is the sailing bark Eagle, a commissioned vessel in the United States Coast Guard. The commanding officer of the Eagle is one of these three men. What is your name, please?
My name is William Earl.
My name is William Earl.
My name is William Earl.
Only one of these men is the real Captain William Earl. The other two are imposters and will try to fool this panel. Tom Poston, Peggy Cass, Orson Bean, and Kitty Carlisle. On To Tell the Truth with your host, Bud Collier.
It was a week before I could bring myself to realize that he'd gone away and left me. But by then it didn't seem to matter. Nothing did. Nothing. In this whole wide, empty world.
I've Got a Secret, brought to you tonight by Joy, the fun drink that makes 2 full quarts of pure, wholesome refreshment for the entire family.
Show.
Hello, boys.
Oh, hi, May. What you got there?
A special treat for the boys who acted as your bodyguards.
Bodyguards? You want to hear something?
Oh,
shut up, Otis. Fun. Otis was just going to thank Aunt Bee for this delicious chocolate cream pie made with Jell-O chocolate flavor pie filling. Right, Otis?
Well, I was going to
thank her for a smooth, creamy chocolate cream pie, easy as you know what to make.
I was going to just tell
And he knows she got the recipe off a box of Jell-O chocolate flavor pie filling, because there's recipes on every box. Right, Otis?
No, I was going to tell her how Barney goofed and how he made
Oh,
that
shut up, Otis. Will you just shut up? Just take a lock and eat, Otis. Try Jell-O pudding and pie filling. The creamy, easy answer to what's for dessert. Good. I appreciate it, and good night.
Breaking Point. Brought to you by the cigarettes with famous Raleigh coupons on the back of every pack. Raleigh, plain end or filter tip. And light menthol Bel Air.
Tuesday night, the action's great. Your leadoff shows really great. We'll hit 'em hard, knock 'em flat. First show, combat.
To life's misfortunes pay no heed, although they leave you flat. If a few good laughs are all you need, I know just where they're at. As I sit and watch the screen, with joy my heart is melting. Of course you know the show I mean. It's the one that stars, oh, well, you can't expect us matinee idols to be poets too, you know. Anyhow, something about Tuesday night on most of these stations.
Lots of curves, you bet, and even more when you get to the junction.
Petticoat Junction.
Good evening. We are the players in this theater, and we welcome you, our audience.
From Hollywood, the Jack Benny Program. The Fugitive. A QM production, starring David Jansen as The Fugitive, with guest stars Susan Oliver, Robert Duvall, Lee Phillips, Will Kaluva. Also starring Barry Morse as Lieutenant Gerard. Tonight's episode, Never Wave Goodbye, Part 1.
Air freshener that feels cool as it clears and freshens the air presents the first half of the Gary Moore Show.
The Bell Telephone Hour presents
Tonight's Adventures of Ozzie and Harriet is brought to you by the dairy farmer members of the American Dairy Association.
You never outgrow your need for milk's vitality.
So drink a glass at every meal.
I wanted to know some more. What did you do at the orphanage to get sent up here? The judge made a special effort to see you, Cordell. It might help if you cooperated.
Well, just what could he or anyone do to help me, Warden?
He might help you walk out of this place.
Don't play games with me.
Meet Kathy, who's lived most everywhere, from Zanzibar to Berkeley Square. But Kathy's only seen the sights a girl can see from Brooklyn Heights. What a crazy pair! But they're cousins, identical cousins all the way. One pair of matching bouquets, different as night and day.
The
Price is Right, brought to you by Pharmacraft Laboratories, makers of Allerest. Allerest for allergy. And now your host on The Price is Right, and here he is, Bill Cullen.
Come along and visit with the Clampett family as they learn the simple pleasures of the hills of Everly. That includes the products of your sponsor of the week, the cereals of Kellogg's, Kellogg's of Battle Creek. K-E-double-L-O double good Kellogg's, best to you.
Van Dyke Show, starring Dick Van Dyke. Rosemary, Maury Amsterdam, Larry Matthews, and Mary Tyler Moore.
To wind up the evening at 9 Central Time, a strong new entry.
Hello. I'm Jason Evers. I play Professor Joe Howe in Channing. Henry Jones plays the role of Dean Baker.
It's the Denny Kaye Show with Denny's guests, Glennis Johns, the Big Three, the Klinger Sisters, Paul Weston and his orchestra, and special guest star Joe Stafford. Brought to you by Armstrong.
When you're with the Flintstones, have a yabba dabba do time, a dabba do time. We'll have a gay old time. We'll have a gay old time.
This is the lovely star of Hollywood and television, Alan Ludden's beautiful wife, Betty White.
Thank you. And this is my partner, Robert Ware, from Indianapolis, Indiana.
This is the celebrated humorist and television star, Miriam Parr's wonderful husband, Jack Parr.
Hello, this is my partner, Anna Zarelli from Staten Island, New York, and we're all here to play Password.
And now, here's your host on Password, Alan Ludden.
Hi. Welcome to our show from the Quaker Oats Company.
My Three Sons.
Ladies and gentlemen of the jury, this man's life is at stake. And worse than that, he might get fined, too. I ask you to look at this man Is that the face of a criminal? The face of a liar, perhaps. The face of a cheat, perhaps. The face of an egomaniac, perhaps. But a murderer? No. Ladies and gentlemen of the jury, I tell you, in order to have committed this crime, a man would have to be out of his mind. It would have to be someone who was tortured by overwork, by lack of sleep, by a rooster crowing, night and day and night, driving him crazy, hour after hour, minute after minute, just crowing and crowing and crowing, and that's why I did it. The darn thing was driving me out of my mind. Just crowing every minute, every hour, every day, every second. What else could I do, Your Honor? I throw myself on the mercy of the court.
Welcome to Perry Como's Kraft Music Hall, brought to you by Kraft. Kraft, the name that stands for good food and good food ideas.
He was wild as the West, and yet they say a fight was not his game. He'd rather gamble and laugh and love when trouble came this way. He rode that away. Destry was his name.
Chrysler Theater. An hour of entertainment from Chrysler Corporation. Makers of Plymouth, Chrysler, Imperial, Dodge trucks, all quality engineered by Chrysler Corporation.
Brought to you by Lark Cigarettes. Taste the good things that happen to smoke filtered through Lark's charcoal granules. Lark, richly rewarding, yet uncommonly smooth.
You unlock this door with the key of imagination. Beyond it is another dimension. A dimension of sound. A dimension of sight. A dimension of mind. You're moving into a land of both shadow and substance, of things and ideas. You've just crossed over into the Twilight Zone.
Poor men have no beef. In Barry's books, they're schnooks. That's his firm belief.
Richard Nixon announced that he would accept a draft to run for the presidency only if a deadlock developed. He could make no further comment as he was busily engaged in his current work, developing a deadlock.
De Gaulle plays footsie with the red Chinese. Bobby tries to calm the Indonesian. Time magazine simplifies sex. But Eddie Fisher feels it's much more complex. Ruby's defense says his brain was maimed. And Jimmy Hoffa's huffing, I've been framed. That was a week that was...
Good evening.
The Alfred Hitchcock Hour is brought to you by Marlboro Filter Cigarettes. You're where the flavor is when you're in Marlboro country.
Oh, what a week